In the middle of the town of Whiterun, past the outdoor market and up the stone staircase, there sits a large tree that, well, looks like it's seen better days. Sitting on a bench underneath the tree is an older woman in a yellow hood. This is Danica Purespring.
It's a shame, isn't it?
Can you tell me a little bit about this tree behind you, Danica?
This is the Eldergleam. It was planted as a seedling in the early years of Whiterun. Disciples of Kinnereth could sense something holy in it and traveled far to hear the winds of the goddess in its branches. They built the temple. Of course, not as many pilgrims these days.
I see. So what exactly is so special and unique about this tree?
To the east of here is a hidden grove where the Eldergleam resides. It's the oldest living thing in Skyrim, maybe all of Tamriel. Our tree here in the city was grown from a cutting of that tree. You can still feel the glory of the mother tree through it. Even its name is an echo.
Well, I'll be honest, the tree looks like it's in rough shape. Is there any way to revive it?
I've thought about that. Trees like this never really die, they only slumber. I think if we had some of the sap from the parent tree, we could wake up its child. But even if you could get to the Eldergleam, you couldn't tap it. Not with any normal metal.
Not with any normal metal, huh? Well, what kind of metal would I need to use then?
Eldergleam is older than metal, from a time before men or elves. To even affect it, you have to tap into the old magic. You'll have to deal with the hag ravens. I've heard about the weapon they've made for sacrificing Spriggans. It's called Nettlebane. The hags terrify me, or I would have gone after it myself.
Well, maybe I could go get the Nettlebane.
Your spirit is strong. Kinnereth's winds will guide your path. It's held in a hagraven nest called Orphan Rock.
And with that, we begin the quest, The Blessings of Nature. We start our journey by heading south of Whiterun to Orphan Rock, which is where Danica said we would find the Nettlebane being guarded by a small clan of hagravens. We could have fast-traveled to Riverwood and then made our way to Orphan Rock from there, but I figured it would be easier to fast-travel to Helgen and start from there. Once in Helgen, we can travel east up a stone walkway, but it quickly becomes apparent that in order to reach Orphan Rock, we have to go off the beaten path and into the woods. Obviously, the hagravens don't want any visitors while they're performing their rituals. The undergrowth becomes thicker and thicker as we draw near, and then suddenly, the hagravens attack. We manage to take out one of them, but are immediately forced to run to cover to avoid the giant fireballs being hurled in our general direction. While behind cover, I became distracted by a deceased bandit lying on the ground, and foolishly ran into one of the traps the hagravens set up around their nest. The darn thing nearly killed me! I'd better be more careful. After consuming some health potions, we circle around the outer perimeter of the hagraven nest, in search of more monsters to introduce to our trusty dragonbone sword. With only one hagraven left, we can take out our longbow and finish the job. With all four of the hagravens dead, we can finally have a brief look around. There is a deceased Spriggan bent over what appears to be some kind of ceremonial altar, and an arcane enchanter station with a death bell and a greater soul gem resting on top. There's a creepy bin full of skulls and bloody limbs, and inside of a small tent, we find a chest with some loot inside. After searching one of the hagravens lying lifeless on the ground, we find the Nettlebane, which truthfully isn't that impressive. The dagger only does 16 damage, and beyond that, its appearance isn't exactly anything to brag about either. It's just kind of, well, an average-looking dagger. I was expecting a bit more from a weapon that has the magical ability to move the oldest living tree in Skyrim, if I'm being honest. But I digress. With the Nettlebane now in our inventory, we can start heading back towards Whiterun. But not before falling on another one of those blasted traps. Back in Whiterun, we find Danica not on the bench underneath the Eldergleam tree, but inside the Temple of Kinnereth. Hey there, Danica.
So, have you gotten Nettlebane back from those filthy hag ravens yet?
As a matter of fact, yes. Yes, I have.
Oh, Well, I honestly didn't expect you to come back. Of course, I'm glad you did. Now, I don't really want to touch that thing, though. Do you think you could handle the next steps?
I suppose so. What exactly do I have to do?
Eldergleam Sanctuary Grove is to the east of here. You can use Nettlebane to retrieve some of its sap.
Was I correct in hearing that you were traveling to the Grove of the Eldergleam?
Yes. I'm sorry, who are you?
I am a traveler, a pilgrim. I follow the voice of Kinnereth wherever it can be heard. I've dreamed of seeing Eldergleam for years. Might I travel alongside you? I promise not to get in the way.
We are then given the choice of either traveling to Eldergleam Sanctuary by ourselves, or taking Maurice with us. Two heads are better than one, so we're going to say, yes, Maurice, you're welcome to join me.
I thank you for your kindness.
With our new ally by our side, we can travel east of Whiterun to Eldergleam Sanctuary, but since we have yet to discover the location, we have no choice but to fast travel to Mixwater Mill and cover the remaining distance on foot. With our sword and shield at the ready, we climb up a hill and spot two giants walking in the distance. We'd better keep our distance to avoid any unnecessary confrontation that likely wouldn't end very well. We take a few more steps and then turn around again to see the giants being attacked by a massive frost dragon. I feel like I should be paying somebody to see a fight like this. The dragon flies up into the air. Hoping that it didn't see us, we turn around again and start making a run for it towards the safety of Eldergleam Sanctuary. But it's too late. The frost dragon is looking for a fight. Our shield is only somewhat effective against the beast's frost breath, meaning that we're going to have to take it down as quickly as we possibly can in order to minimize damage. As the dragon circles above our head, we're charged by a saber cat. Jeez, can a guy catch a break? For whatever reason, the frost dragon refused to land, forcing us to take out our bow and try to take the beast down from a distance. We hit it once and it flies off to where the giants were walking earlier. We take another shot and miss, but somehow the dragon still goes down. I'm not exactly sure how this happened. I suppose the only explanation is that the dragon suffered a bone-shattering blow from one of the giant's massive clubs. Boy, what a way to go. After collecting the dragon's soul and looting some scales and bone, we can continue making our way towards Eldergleam Sanctuary. There's another dragon off in the distance, but we're just going to leave it alone and stay focused on the mission. The entrance of Eldergleam Sanctuary looks like nothing more than a narrow and abandoned cave at first, but following the winding passageway down, we eventually come to a large open space that, in my opinion, is one of the most beautiful locations I've seen in the game yet. Cascading waterfalls, glowing fireflies, tall green trees towering above our heads. This is more than just a sanctuary. This is paradise. As we follow the path across a bridge, we are greeted by one of the sanctuary's inhabitants named San.
Hello there, friend. Have you come to enjoy the sights and sounds of this beautiful sanctuary as I have? Truly remarkable, isn't it?
After a few more twists and turns, and with Maurice still following behind us, we finally arrive at a large root. So large, in fact, that it is blocking our path. This must be part of the Eldergleam tree that Danica wants us to collect sap from. Taking out the nettlebane, we can use it to move the roots out of the way. After a few quick slashes, an angered Maurice interrupts us.
I had no idea you were a man of violence. What exactly are your intentions in this blessed place?
Didn't you hear what Danica said? We need to collect sap from the Eldergleam to revive the Eldergreen back in Whiterun, Maurice.
You would violate this marvel of Kinnereth's glory to fix that half-breed stump in Whiterun? That's abominable. Barbaric! I'll have no part of this. Why didn't you tell me what you intended?
Now we have two options. We can either say, well, do you have a better idea? Or we can say, step aside, Maurice. I have work to do. Let's first choose to hear him out. All right, Maurice, we're supposed to be collecting sap, but did you have a better idea?
Well, yes. There is something. It won't repair the tree back at the temple, but we could bring them a new one.
What exactly did you have in mind?
Follow me. I think I can convince the tree to help us.
Maurice runs past us up to the trunk of the Eldergleam tree, drops to his knees, and lifts his arms in the air.
The Eldergleam has blessed us with a sapling. You should take it to Whiterun. Danica will want to see that the true blessings of nature lie in renewal, not a slavish maintenance.
All right then, I suppose a sapling will do just fine. What are you going to do in the meantime, Maurice?
I believe I'll stay here and bask in Eldergleam's warmth a bit longer. Good luck on your travels. May Kinnereth's wind carry only the sweetest scents.
With that, we can head back outside of the sanctuary and fast travel back to Whiterun, where we find Danica once again inside of the Temple of Kinnereth.
Do you have the Eldergleam sap?
Well, not quite. But I did get a sapling. Maybe we could plant a new tree instead of trying to revive the old one.
But I can't run the temple without the support of people who are inspired by the Eldergreen. How can this little tree bring new worshippers?
Come on now, Danica. You and I both know that renewal is far more important than maintenance.
You're right, of course. It can be hard to hear the winds of Kinnereth when all you hear are the rabble in the temple. Death feeds new life. I'm sure that in time, this little sapling will grow into a new Eldergreen that will tower over Whiterun. Thank you.
And with that, we complete the quest, The Blessings of Nature. Out of curiosity, I wanted to see what would have happened if we had told Maurice to step aside and retrieve the sap from the Eldergleam instead of the sapling. Come on, Maurice, you know I don't want any trouble. I need the tree sap for Danica.
You would violate this marvel of Kinnereth's glory to fix that half-breed stump in Whiterun? That's abominable. Barbaric! I'll have no part of this. Why didn't you tell me what you intended?
All right, step aside, pal. I've got unfinished business to attend to.
With pleasure. Nature has a way of finding vengeance, though. You walk a bleak path, friend. One that will lead to suffering.
With Maurice looking like he's going to attack us at any moment, we can turn around and finish collecting sap from the Eldergleam. But as soon as we do, Maurice charges at us.
Oh, Kinnereth!
After a brief brawl with Maurice, we quickly realize that we have bigger problems on our hands. Maurice tries to run, but I was feeling merciless on this particular day, so I decided to kill him off. We go to loot his body, but there's nothing of interest, just a belted tunic and a pair of boots. With the sap of the Eldergleam in our inventory, we can make a break for the exit. But a number of Spriggans stand in our way. Looks like we're going to have to fight our way out. Before heading back to Whiterun, I wanted to talk to either of the two inhabitants of the sanctuary to see how they felt about me stealing sap from the Eldergleam. I was able to find one of the inhabitants, Asta, lying dead on the grass, but strangely enough, Sand was nowhere to be found. I looked everywhere for him, on top of grassy ledges, underneath the bridge, in the water, and still no Sand. It was like he disappeared into thin air. Looks like his fate will forever remain a mystery. Behind one of the trees on the right side of your path as you're heading up towards the Eldergleam, we find a chest with some gold, a ruby, a silver necklace, and some other valuable loot inside. With Maurice and Asta dead, and Sand nowhere to be found, we can head back out of the sanctuary and once again fast travel to Whiterun. Danica, of course, is still inside of the Temple of Kinnereth. Hey Danica, I've got the sap from the Eldergleam.
Wonderful. I'll use it to repair the tree. Thank you so much for all your help.
And that's it. She takes the sap and presumably gets to work trying to revive the Eldergreen. I found it a bit odd how she wasn't even curious about Maurice's whereabouts, and it would have been a nice addition to the game had we been given the opportunity to either lie about what happened to Maurice or tell Danica the truth, that he attacked us and we responded accordingly. I tried waiting and even fast traveling all the way to the College of Winterhold in order to pass time and see if the Eldergreen would be revived, but every time I re-entered Whiterun, I still saw no progress being made. I'm not exactly sure how long it takes for the Eldergreen to either be revived or for a new tree to grow, but if you know the answer, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Of the two possible endings for this quest, I've got to say that I like the first one much better, the one where Maurice lives and we return to Danica with the sapling. It felt immoral and just wrong cutting into the Eldergleam to collect its sap and then rushing out of the sanctuary like some kind of an escaped inmate. And beyond that, even though we don't get to know him very much, Maurice seemed like a nice guy. Might as well let him live. Danica seems to be a bit disappointed when we bring her a sapling instead of sap, but as Maurice pointed out, rebirth is more important than maintenance, and new life is more important than trying to hang on to the past. But I'd love to know what you think, folks. Did you bring Danica the sap from the Eldergleam during your playthrough? Or did you bring her the sapling per Maurice's request? Were you able to wait around long enough to see the new Eldergreen tree in the center of Whiterun? And if so, what does it look like? Let me know in the comments below. I post new videos on Skyrim every single Friday, ladies and gentlemen. If you like this video in particular, consider clicking on the thumbs up icon below. I'd really appreciate it. Or, if you're feeling generous, subscribe to my channel so that you can stay up to date on all of my latest content. But that's all for now, folks. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.